And we are live. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
And also, um, so first I usually check to see who's in the chat to see
Yeah,
if anyone's in the chat before I start going into any intros. But
definitely.
there was already this excellent lady. Her name is Stacy Coates.
Hello, Stacy. Nice to
Hi,
see you.
how are you? She is a very cool writer. She does genealogy,
Oh, that's neat.
and
My mom does
she has a
genealogy.
journal. Cool. Um, there's a lot of genealogy going on in my family, but that's at least on one side. So somebody had done some decades ago, and there were books printed the whole gamut.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So that my paternal uh, my paternal family, whatever you want to say, it goes back quite a ways
That's
actually
cool.
in the United States. So that's very cool. And maybe I'll go into that later.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
it's
history nerd, so
fascinating.
we actually
I
know a
am
fair bit of ours too. If we get into that, I have a neat story.
okay. Alrighty. So let's see. All right. Well, let me do a quick intro. I think we do have 3 viewers that I can see in StreamYard.
Excellent.
Okay. My name is Heather Dewey Pettit, and I am a writer, editor, and artist. As a writer, as doing all of those things, I've done a lot over the last 20 plus years, but in recent years, I have been focusing on fiction. And I have, as a writer, I have some projects in the works, including a fantasy novel and some short
Ooh,
stories. As an editor, again, I've done a lot of things, but in recent years, I've been focusing on fiction and books.
hmm
I've done other things in the past. And as an artist, so yes, I've done various media, photography, but recent years I've been focusing more on watercolors, gouache, stamps, and ink, and I even have an Etsy shop.
That's awesome.
So that's my intro, basically.
It's a
So
pretty good
if you
intro,
want
actually.
to, oh, thank you. I've
Yeah.
been working on it a lot for the last
Well,
2 years since I've been streaming.
I like it.
Go ahead.
I'm E. I am an editor. I am a book publisher. I'm an author. I'm a whole lot of things, if I'm honest. I am primarily right now, I do fiction. I'm working on an urban fantasy series. The second book is actually coming out in 10 days, and book 3 is in current editing with me. Then I also do editing, like I said. I mostly work in fiction, primarily in speculative fiction, so fantasy, sci-fi, that sphere. I do also do historical fiction and so on because I have a degree in history, so I'm that nerd. Beyond that, I also do art. I do basically maps, mostly for the. I mostly do D&D maps, in
Amazing
watercolor and pen.
maps.
Huh? Yeah, you've seen some of them. So
Yeah.
that's one of my other big hobbies. I also do like sword fighting and knitting and a whole bunch of other fiber arts. So, and I am putting together a conference for neurodivergent people in the publishing industry. That is one of the big things coming up,
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
super excited to share that.
Yes. I did actually miss my last line that I've been saying in my intro, which is what ties everything together. What ties
Mhm.
all of it together is my love of fantasy and science
Yep.
fiction. So, that's my primary focus as well is fantasy and science fiction,
Excellent.
speculative fiction.
Yep.
But so even the stuff in my Etsy shop, there's fairies and
Oh yeah.
dragons
Excellent.
and
I've
stuff
seen
like
some of
that.
your art.
So,
I remember we did one of those productivity meetings
oh
in the writing
yes.
group, and you
Mhm.
were doing some art at the time.
Yes, that's right. I remember that now.
Yeah,
Yeah, so pretty cool. Yeah, I like doing it.
it's a lot of
Yeah, I
fun.
like using gel presses too.
hmm
They're pretty neat. Um, let's see. Maybe do a little bit more of hellos, and then we can get into the
Yeah.
more the nitty-gritty of conference. Hi,
Definitely.
Rita. How are you? Rita's very, very cool
Hello,
person.
Rita.
I think, is it not mysteries, Rita? Yeah, I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, my son was napping, but I don't think he is anymore.
He
Eh,
stirs.
yeah, he is stirring. Yes.
My cats might stir at some point. They're both sleeping right now, so.
There might be some family noise in the
Yeah, family
background,
noise, feline
just so
chaos.
everybody knows, because he isn't back to school yet.
Mhm.
It was like a wonky winter vacation. But anyway, okay. Yeah, you were saying that like yesterday, Stacy, I think, because it's when everybody's off schedule, it's kind of chaos.
Yeah,
Everything just devolves into chaos, right?
definitely. I understand a bit about
Mm,
that.
okay. Alrighty. What would you like to say um, next, Alice,
Okay.
about
Well, I can introduce the
the
conference a little bit.
conference? Oh, and the
Yeah,
groups. Maybe the history of everything, I was thinking.
yeah, so the conference came about because there was a post in one of the editing groups I'm part of where an editor was looking for other neurodivergent editors. And I have ADHD. I was recently diagnosed with autism, and I knew I had ADHD at the time. And I was like, there's probably a lot of us. And someone was saying they wish they were a group. There were, and other people were saying, wow, that would be cool. And one of my, I guess, special interests or hobbies is community building. Like, I love building communities. It's one of my favorite activities. So I was like, I can make a Facebook group for that. And so I did.
Mhm.
And, I
I
grabbed a couple
remember
other
that
people.
conversation.
Yeah. And so I grabbed a few people. We put together a group. And then one of my closest writer friends, she's like, hey, that would be awesome to do a writers group for the same thing because she's
Right.
neurodivergent and a writer. And she's like, that would be a great thing to have.
Because
And
yeah, because it first was the editing group,
yep.
and then we were all like, and then yeah, was it Leslie?
Yeah, it was Leslie.
Wasn't it? That's what I
Yep.
thought. And she was saying, well, we're all writers too, most of us, so
Yep.
why not?
And she also, since there are a bunch of writers, and we also wanted to be able to like invite writers in to talk shop without having them see all the editor conversations where like I was working on this manuscript and I wished to throw it out the window because we didn't want to make anybody feel bad. But we need this space to also be able to say, I would like to throw it out the window because
Right. Yes.
some days.
Yes. Some days. I've
So,
I've
yep.
been I've been in that situation as well.
I have worked on manuscripts where sometimes the research was so bad that I was like, how did you get this far in life without like understanding this? Like, how did you exist?
Um, yeah.
Like sometimes it's just like I don't know, I don't
Yes.
understand how this happened, but here we are.
I
So
understand.
it turned into the writing group and the editing group, and at that point, like it was sometime around the time where 20 books conference was really like it was people were talking about the 20 books conference and it was in my brain. I think maybe they just released the videos public from the previous year.
Okay.
And I was sitting around and I was like, man, I
Again,
want to
this
go to
is
a
all
writing.
January of last year when all this happened,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. It was so it was around January that we started talking about it. And I was like, man, I want to go to a writing conference. I'm never going to be able to attend 20 books. Well, that was a lie because I'm going this year. But I was like,
Hey.
yeah, I'm very excited. But I was like, I'm never going to be able to make it to 20 books and I want to go to a writing conference. And in order for me to attend a writing conference, I think I'd have to run the writing conference. Well, all right then. I've never done this before, but my ADHD impulsivity said I can do this. Let's make it happen. And I spent the last year going, I regret my life decisions, but I'm very excited. I got
And
together
so
with a few
yeah,
other people. The council is myself, Leslie, my friend Melanie, who is in the groups a little bit. She's not on Facebook a ton, but she's
okay.
a tremendous writer. And then we
Oh,
have Lisa Hislop, who is also an editor.
Okay.
She is a wonderful, wonderful lady, and I'm really excited to have her with us. And so the four of us we'd been meeting on Discord regularly and like putting
Okay.
together plans for this. Melanie's also a consummate marketer; like that's her day job. So she
Oh, wow.
helped me figure out like a lot of the marketing end of stuff. And the four of
Mm.
us together just kind of put our heads together, and here we are. And we have a New York Times bestseller speaking at the conference because of Leslie. She's
Yes.
friends with Mallory Cooper, which is super
Oh,
exciting.
oh, she's friends with I got it.
Yep.
Wow, so that's how that came about. Like, when I saw that
Yeah.
name, I was
So
like,
she
"God, that lady's name sounds so familiar."
Yeah, so, like, Leslie got to know Mallory through 20 Books, and they've been hanging out at the 20 Books conferences the last few years, and she invited Mallory because Mallory's out about being ADHD, and Mallory said she'd love to do that, so we got Mallory Cooper, which is just mind-blowing for a tiny little
Mm,
first-time conference to get Mallory Cooper to speak at it, like,
yeah.
wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's great.
So
And, a bunch of other people. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
why don't I g and oh, just so um, we're gonna, continue to talk. I neglected to mention this. We're going to continue to talk about the conference until Ellis has to leave at 1 o'clock Eastern. So
Yep.
we're going to continue to talk about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the site in case anybody is interested.
Uh, yeah,
So I'm going
the
to go ahead and
website
pull that up
is
so
it's a
people can see the names.
yeah. The website is the best I can do. I'm
That's
not a
all.
web designer, and I couldn't hire one because our budget this year was like some dryer lint, a neat rock, and some metal D20s I found in my pocket. That was our budget this year. So, um,
I think it looks great.
well, thank you. It's WordPress, so I'm okay at putting things together in WordPress. But if there is any like weirdness in the website, like when people buy tickets, there's a weird error that
Yeah,
shows up,
I'm
but
kind of
it
okay
goes
with
through
that.
on PayPal, so it works, and I get all the information, so people do get registered. There's just a weird error, and I don't know how to fix that because we're back to budget being a shiny, a neat rock and some dryer lint. So I can't hire somebody to be like, save me.
So, let's see.
I actually updated our sessions schedule yesterday
Let's
pretty
see.
significantly.
And this works. Just so that people can see who
Yeah,
is
so the
going to be
schedule and
speaking.
speakers will show
Um, at least
that is not a
the basic
complete
names.
speakers list.
Mallory
Um,
Cooper, New York Times
yep,
best-selling sci-fi author. Yeah,
yes, she
that's
is. She's a
right. Okay.
sci-fi lady.
We have a fantasy author by the name of Dr. Joseph Weinberg.
Weinberg. He's a sweetheart, good friend of mine.
That his name doesn't sound very familiar. Okay,
He
cool.
has written a lot
We
of
have,
books, but he's
would you talk oh, go ahead.
sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, Dr. Joe is a good friend of mine. He's actually one of the authors I've published. He's written a lot of books. His Achilles heel is marketing. His writing is phenomenal. His marketing, I want to shake him until marketing comes out. Um,
Maybe you should do that to me too, Alice.
I can. I can just one of you in each hand and just start
Please.
shaking.
Please feel free.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
We've got Stephen Puri. He is the creator of the Centered app. They are actually they volunteered to work with us for the conference. They've been doing a lot. The Centered app is a lot of fun. We have a community on there. It's basically centered around co-work sessions, kind of like body doubling. If you have the pro version,
Mhm.
which isn't super expensive, you can do video, like co-working, and it's
Oh, really?
designed to like it'll yell at you if you log into Facebook or other things. Like if you give it permission, it'll tell
I've
you
heard
like
you
get out of
say that.
Facebook or like why are you on YouTube? And one of the neat things is like
I love that so much.
the writing community that we have on there too. It has a voice coach that'll come in and like talk to you every so often. And actually, the voice coach for our writing community is me. So Stephen had me record all of the lines, and so during the writing sessions, I talk to people about it, and like I'll be should you be on Facebook right now? Or I sense a disturbance in the force is one of the lines.
That's
So,
very cool.
yeah, we have Jace
So
Carter,
that's
who
awesome
is
that
yeah.
when that excuse me when you know we were tossing around ideas about sponsors,
Hmm.
and then when you said you had gotten the creator of the Centered app to speak,
Yep.
I thought that was just amazing.
Yeah, he's super nice. He's really like excited about the way that his product has been helping neurodivergent people because there are a lot of ADHD coaches who've been using it. And he found that it really has, like, he originally made it for coders so that coders could like
Oh,
zero in and get into flow states. And he's discovered
okay.
that it has an audience like way outside of that because he didn't realize how useful the co-working and like the nudges and stuff would be for neurodivergent people who are working, like trying to access flow states and get deep into focus while they're doing whatever it is they're doing.
And ironically, I imagine a lot of people who do that are neurodivergent, actually.
Probably. Like, I think there's certain professions like writing and coding and things that like take deep focus that really like the neurodivergent crowd is just like, catnip for us.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
technical writing is catnip for autistic people, like as far as like the profession goes, because you can be really hyper specific. You explain things really well. It's technical. It's measurable. It's,
Yeah.
like it's a really, really like good field for autistic folks. I think editing is too, personally, particularly copy editing.
Hey, guess what I specialize in?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Sorry, I
Cop
didn't mean to say that so loud. Sorry.
um, that's okay. Let's see. It's like, yeah,
Obviously,
that
we've got
sounds,
you.
sounds about right. But anyway, do, you know what? I'm going to step away momentarily while you talk about
Okay.
Jace Carter. Okay,
Yeah.
I will
Okay.
be right back, guys.
Alrighty. So
Let me
Jace
see.
Carter is a very prolific romance author. She's written a lot of series. She puts out like 8 to 10 books a year. She is tremendously skilled, very talented, and one of my dearest friends. I'm actually going to be meeting up with her at 20 books. We've known each other for a long time, and she is going to be giving a talk on productivity because that's one of her favorite subjects. She has ADHD. She's very open about that, and she's going to be talking about how to create a productive space and get into like routines and stuff to help you write. And that's really going to be useful. Let's see, we have Leslie Heath. She's going to be doing a couple of different things. Her primary talk, though, is going to be on handling injury for your characters because Leslie is actually an ER nurse when she's not an author. So she's going to be discussing like how to handle body trauma and stuff like that when you're writing, because that's an area a lot of writers struggle in to do realistically. So she's going to be giving a talk on that. We have Rosanna Ianniko. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. I apologize if I butchered it. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. She is a motivational speaker, and she is a best-selling author. She's going to be talking about how to, I think, create flow states, if I remember properly. Let me look through here and see if I can find her talk. It's in here. Yeah. Okay. So imagination and manifestation. She's going to be teaching a course about like how to go from an idea to making it real and tangible. So that should be a really interesting one. We've got Jennifer Gregson. She's going to be talking about how to get out of the middle of writing a book because a lot of authors struggle once they kind of get into the middle of a story, because one of the things that people tend to underestimate, if we're using the 3-act structure, right? The second act, so the quote unquote middle of the book, is actually like half the book. So when we're working with the 3-act structure, Act 2, the reason everyone gets so stuck in it is because it's actually like 50% of your word count. It is huge. So she's going to be talking about how authors can navigate that, because the beginning has a lot of action. It's the introduction. It's exciting. The end, of course, has the wrap up. And then you have the middle where everything else happens. So she's going to be giving a talk on that, which is very exciting. I have an eyelash in my eye. Then we have somebody who I'm really interested in. They're O. Arsenoi. They are going to be talking about how creatives, particularly neurodivergent people, tend to gravitate through to art and have done I think I'm not honestly sure. They have done a lot of research on this. They're basically basing this on their master's thesis and are going to be discussing how people progress through all of those different things, and get how neurodivergent people end up in various creative pursuits, which is really kind of neat. And also talking about like policies and recommendations in various different settings to help neurodivergent people succeed in the workplace, which I'm also really excited about. This eyelash in my eye will not go away, so I apologize. Let me see. I'm clicking around the website to try and remember what everybody's doing. Dick Margulis is a professional editor and a friend of mine, and he's doing a talk about how to go from the idea and have a manuscript all the way through to the process of hitting publish. He's going to be kind of walking people through that whole experience because it's a long one, and there's a lot to it. I have, let's see, a few other people. I have Diana Gunn. She is a content strategist. Some people actually aren't on that list yet, so that's one of the reasons why I'm referring to the other page, because I haven't finished updating everything. She's going to be doing a panel on how to create functional and accessible spaces for neurodivergent people during conferences, signings, events, and so on, which is awesome. And talking about also how we can structure those things for ourselves and eliminate overwhelm. Then we have Megan Harris. She is, as it says, she's a professional editor. She's going to be discussing, what was Megan Harris's one about? Right, she's going to be talking about writing, copywriting, like the back cover of your book, and how to like write a good synopsis, because copywriting is the Achilles heel of a lot of us, because we're like, we can write a novel, why can I not write the back cover text? Well, it's a different kind of writing. So, and then we've got Quinn from Brian Cohen's Author Ad School, who's going to be talking about putting things together for Mallory Cooper will be talking about living authentically, as well as talking about Facebook ads for authors, which is really exciting. And she runs kind of like Brian Cohen's quarterly author ad school. He does Facebook ad school for Facebook ads. He does Amazon ads. And so both of those are going to be here at the conference, which is super exciting. I've got a few other people who might be joining us, and I'm really excited about them, but I'm not going to make any announcements yet because I haven't confirmed anything. But those are basically the people and some of the things we're talking about at the conference. It should be useful to everybody, so even if you're not neurodivergent yourself, you're welcome to attend. Just recognize it's going to be structured and focused on the things neurodivergent people need to succeed in the writing industry. Hi, Heather. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Alice. I'm sorry. I had to. That's okay. Yeah, just needed to assist my son with some stuff.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah.
Motherhood sometimes ensues.
Yep.
When there's no school.
I hear you.
So
right now we are trying to get enough tickets sold. So the conference, since I haven't mentioned it yet, since I've made a big boo-boo, the conference is February 17th through 19th. And right now I'm doing a big drive to get people to sign up to come to the conference. It's going to be virtual. It's not in person, so you don't need to leave your house or put on pants if you don't want to. We can be just author gremlins and not wear pants, because I mean the camera only shows from here up. I don't need to know. So you know,
pajama bottoms are acceptable.
Yeah, totally. Like if I weren't going out immediately after this, I would be in PJ pants. Like I live in PJ pants. If I'm not wearing PJ pants, it's because I'm not going to be in the house and it's too cold.
No, I do wear leggings a lot.
Exactly. Like
most days, I think probably
real pants are a conspiracy of some kind. I'm not sure what they're a conspiracy for, but like outside clothes are a conspiracy.
Yeah.
So right now I'm trying to get enough tickets sold to make sure I'm justifying the time of the people who are going to be speaking. If you aren't able to physically attend the conference, not physically, but be present for the conference, we will be recording all of the sessions, and they will be going up on YouTube.
Right.
And 2 weeks after the conference, they will be released for free. But in the 2 weeks prior to that, they're going to be going up on YouTube for attendees only. So you will be able to see all of the sessions, even if you can't attend them live. And if you can't afford a ticket, I know that there are people offering to buy tickets for folks who can't afford it. There's a whole thread going in the group for that. And next year, if we do this next year, which I'm hoping to make this an annual thing, my goal would be to set up like a scholarship so people could buy extra tickets. But the system I have right now, it would have to be bought specifically for somebody with an email attached, simply because I have to put all of that into the way we're doing the conference. I have to have emails in advance so that I can put them on a guest list. So tickets would have to be bought for a specific individual, not just a general pool at the moment. But next year I might be able to organize things a little bit differently and a little better. We're also offering discounted tickets for anybody who wants to attend. And then afterwards, if you volunteer to help us edit the closed captions that YouTube generates to make them accurate, we're offering a discount for that, because I'm trying to make this as accessible as possible. And with our budget this year, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to afford a live captioner or not. I want to in the future. I'd like to do a live captioner as well as an ASL interpreter eventually, because I want to maximize accessibility. But unless I find somebody willing to donate their time right now, like our budget, is not there. So those are goals, and they are like our primary goals. But because the things that pretty much all the money, like for the most of it, the money that is going to be raised with the conference this year is going to be put towards the next conference and is going to be going into things like marketing and accessibility tools like the live captioning and stuff. So that's really what I'm after. I don't care if I make a penny off of the conference myself, but I want to make sure that we can increase accessibility and stuff as much as possible. And I know the other leaders feel very similarly to myself. So, are there any questions about the conference that I haven't covered yet?
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention was the pardon, not the software, but the things that we are using for the conference, the platform. That's it.
Yes. So we are using an adorable platform called Gather. And it looks like I'm dating myself here, but it looks like an NES video game, like really cute little pixel art. And you will have an avatar. You can walk around a space and enter conference rooms. You'll be able to sit at a table with your friends and just talk to them. And the whole thing is voice and video supported. So if you want to do voice and video, you can. And it's designed so that when you walk near another person, their voice and video will show up on your screen. If you have it set up that way, you can tell it you do not want that. And then there are places where you will be able to go that are just voice and video for you and whoever else is in the physical area. We have right now I've got a quiet area set up, and it's designed to look like a library. So there are a bunch of places where you could go and sit with one other person if you want to have a quiet one-on-one conversation, or even if you don't want to talk to anybody, there's some spots where you can just sit by yourself and nobody can talk to you, but you don't need to log out. So there are places all over the conference where you can just sit down with other people. We have a big lounge with some games, and it's really easy to navigate. You just use the arrow keys. There's nothing complicated about it. And when you walk up to something you want to look at, you can hit Q if the little prompt pops up like a sign or something. There's a text chat. If you don't want a voice chat, you can have or not have a camera. You can set it so that people can direct message you or not as you choose. There's a lot of tools to either broaden or narrow your interaction scope. And we are also pairing that with a Discord server. And the Discord server is currently up and running, and is going to be used for you know, it's going to be used for networking primarily. Like we've got a bunch of channels for people to chit chat, and there's also going to be some like there's some stage channels because it only allows 100 people at a time in a room. Gather does. So I have it set up so that if we want to have more than 100 people, they can just hop into the Discord and we'll do a broadcast that way. So that's, you know, we've been working on getting all of that stuff together. Also, eventually when we have a live captioner, I think I might primarily do the speaking on Discord because somebody could live caption into the text chat and no one else could access it. Because Gather, I don't know, they have a lot of accessibility tools. So we might have to, at least for live captioning. So we're kind of having to cobble things together, but I've never run anything like this before. This is my first time doing it, and I'm handling most of the organizational stuff, so if there are snafus, forgive me, I'm doing my best. But please let me know if there's anything that you feel is important that I haven't done.
So yeah,
I am learning about this
put
video.
some things in the chat, some links, and listening to my son and watching him and making sure he's doing what he needs to do.
Yep.
Multitasking.
Yep. Yeah, one of the, I feel you. One of the reasons that this conference is really important to me is because it is by neurodivergent people for neurodivergent people specifically. Like, there are a lot of things where they talk about us. You know, there are a lot of conferences where people with psychology degrees talk about neurodivergence and so on, which is really valuable. Like, I watch a lot of those. It's fascinating. But there's not too much, like, by us, for us out there, at least that I've seen anyway. And so I'm trying to create a space that is neurodivergent friendly. And the Facebook groups are really wonderful places. Like, the people are all incredibly nice. We don't have, like, there's no contention there really. Like, I've had to be moderator to one person once who was acting up a little bit. But other than that, like, we don't, there's no drama.
I've never seen any drama in the, and I started to say earlier, the writer group is called the Neurodivergent Writers Lounge. And then the editors one is a similar name. The
Neurodivergent Editors Lounge, same one.
So are the excuse me, those are the names of those groups. If anybody considers themselves neurodivergent and the writers, please get in touch with me and I can send you an invite.
Yeah. And keep in mind,
because I think,
yeah,
we're growing so much, but the more the merrier.
Absolutely. And you don't need an official diagnosis either. Like, we are not going to police that because diagnoses can be hard to get and expensive. Self-diagnosis is just as valid. So if you feel like maybe you might be neurodivergent, like you might have ADHD, you might have autism, you've taken maybe you've taken the RADS-R or some of the other tests and you're like, or even if you've been on TikTok and been watching the videos on like ADHD and you're like, oh, this is my life. Oh no. Even if you're in that phase, you are more than welcome to join us. Nobody's going to get on you about it. And we'll be happy to have you. And if you have questions about neurodivergence or whatever, like, we don't just talk about writing. Like, it's not just that.
Right.
Yes. You know, and it's support all the way around.
We sometimes, it's support. We what's the word? Vent a lot about, my day has been blah because of blah. Fill in the blank.
Like my my rejection sensitive dysphoria is acting up today, and I'm feeling like a major imposter because I had this interaction where somebody told me they didn't like me on the internet, and I'm sad now. Like, I have had those. And Stacy, you are not an imposter for being self-diagnosed. The University of Washington has actually put out a big study on why self-diagnosis is valid. That is, I can't link it to you. I can send it to Heather, and she can maybe share it with you. But you aren't at all an imposter.
Should be, where's the in the private chat? You should see on the right.
Okay, I can share it there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the link to the University of Washington Autism Center's self-diagnosis. And there's a lot of science in there talking about why self-diagnosis is actually valid, because getting an official diagnosis as an adult can be almost impossible, particularly if you're female presenting. It can be incredibly
Yes.
difficult to get the diagnosis. And
um,
if your daughter's neurodivergent, there's a really high chance that you are, because it does run in families. So that
yes.
doesn't make you,
Yes, it does.
there's no imposter syndrome.
Uh, yeah. Um, um, bless you. Yeah, I myself didn't get diagnosed with ADHD
Mm-hmm.
until I was I was almost 32 a
Mm-hmm.
couple months later. And you know, it kind of took a lot of things happening for me to finally and also encouragement from my now husband. We were engaged, and when I was talking about things and thinking, I think this is me.
Yep.
The more I heard about adult ADD, um, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that really really sounds like me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so through his encouragement, I went and got myself
Yep.
diagnosed. And then a few years later, I had my son, and then a couple years later, he was diagnosed with autism. Some people that watch my channel do know about this. I just don't talk about it very much, but so you know, and then in the ensuing years after his diagnosis, sometimes I'll think about something that I have done in my life and think,
Mm-hmm.
well, that sounds awful lot like autism. And
Yep.
I think I've mentioned this to Ellis, but I think I'm pursuing a, a
Yep.
diagnosis uh, this year. I would like to get that checked out.
Yeah. Other than,
So
like,
that's entirely possible.
I was formally diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, but so was my mother. And my mother was diagnosed with ADD as a
Really?
child in the 1950s, when they didn't diagnose girls. So she was classic,
What?
right? So my mom got a
Wow,
diagnosis as
that
a kid in the
never
1950s.
happens.
Right.
They didn't
So,
even know about it really then, especially for
right.
girls. There
And
was
I got a
no
diagnosis of
studies done,
ADHD.
all the
Yeah.
things.
So I got a diagnosis as a kid because I'm
Well, back
also
when they
quite
called it
textbook.
something else, by the way.
Yeah. And
What did
I
they
got
call
my
it?
autism diagnosis actually this past
Anyway.
November. And I came to that conclusion because a close friend of mine from childhood, she is a psychiatric nurse now, and she came to me in a DM like,
Oh,
I've been thinking a lot about this because my child got diagnosed, and I have been pursuing diagnosis and thinking back to our childhood. Have you considered? And she gave me a list of the things, like how I was as a kid. And I was like, oh. And I started doing research, and she gave me the RADS R to
mm-hmm.
take and some of the other self tests, and directed me towards things. And I was like, this explains my entire life. Oh, well, then, I guess that makes sense. And
Okay, so we chat a little bit. Yeah. Mhm.
I pursued diagnosis, and I was lucky enough to work with a neuropsychiatrist who, the first time through. So what I did, right? You're gonna laugh about this because it's the most autistic thing ever, right? So the day before my test, I didn't get any intake paperwork. They didn't send me any, and I was so anxious about it. I was like, okay, well, I found this intake paperwork for a neuropsych exam from this other office. So I printed it out and filled everything out. And I also like retook the RADSAR and the AQ and the CAT-Q tests, and I printed all of those out. So I went into this meeting with like this ream of paper of all of these tests I'd taken. And I was like, so here's everything I've done. And the psychiatrist looked at me and went, that's a first. um, and we talked, and she administered the ADHD tests and all that other stuff, and she was like, yeah, no, that fits, it makes sense. And also, since I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos, the hypermobility, is often a really common comorbidity with autism. There's a really big connection between hypermobility and
I think
autism.
I've heard this.
Yeah, it's a relatively new
Remind me what that
research.
is exactly. It's
Hypermobility is, by its definition, is a laxity in the joints. It means you're more flexible than you should be.
that's what I thought.
Like what you're doing with your finger right now, like that right there, that exact thing.
That's as far as I can do it, but I know a lot of people can do it farther.
You just had your finger back here.
Or am I getting that mixed up? Or is that this thing?
Yeah, this one is another sign.
My ancient eyes have to go like that.
Yeah. But keep in mind also, like, we're old now, so we're less flexible than we were when we were kids.
Yes.
So,
well, I'm older than you, Ellis.
Yeah. I'm almost 40. I am an antique.
I'm over 50.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell. So that is.
Thank you.
That is a thing. There's a lot of crossover.
My son has
Ehlers-Danlos.
made his sandwich.
Excellent.
Success. Sorry.
No, that's great. So that is definitely one of the things that my my neuropsych took into consideration, because I do have Ehlers-Danlos. And that's a pretty common thing. So there's a lot of interesting emerging science on the intersection.
So I did put that in the chat.
Yes.
I know you don't have a whole lot.
You have about 10 minutes left right now? Sorry, I'm watching my cat. She's
more than 10 minutes. I've got on my laptop, it says 12:47.
Yep, same here. I've got a cat who's wearing a cone of shame right now, and she's kind of bumbling around the couch and keeping half an eye on her.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's always a chore.
Yeah.
It's like, no, stop scratching.
Yeah, she hurt her foot the other day, and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't keep licking it.
Gosh, another in your family that with an injured foot.
Right? I think it's an epidemic. Epidemic of foot injuries. Baby Beastie, come here. I know.
That's what I'm remembering, Stacy.
I know, you're grumpy. I'm trying to send you where you wanted to go.
It also sounds like hypertonia, which is a symptom of daughter's diagnosis. Okay. Interesting. So specifically, my son, he has multiple disabilities, including autism. Autism and ADHD, which makes life very interesting.
Yep, I am ADHD myself. I get it.
Yeah, so that might be me. He also has a language delay and like cognitive delay. So, and what people might hear in the background is my son verbally stimming, and this is just something that he does. It's part of his self-expression. So that is my explanation.
I actually have a stim toy on my desk. I've been playing with it this whole time. It's a little rolly thing.
You know what? That's probably my. Here's another one. Coffee.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. So like I've got stim toys on my desk, things for me to play with.
I often take sips of coffee just to give my hands something to do. Hands. I always have to have something in my hands.
Yep. I'm similar. Like I've got stim toys all over my desk. Also stuff like that helps prevent me from
do that.
Picking at my nails and stuff like that, because I do that when I'm not adequately stimulated. I'll start like messing with my cuticles.
I think that's me as well. And sometimes I will file my nails.
Yep.
I think that's a stim for me.
It could be like the
like the scratchy I'm finally verbalizing that. Yes. It's like
there are
concentrate or something.
There are what are they called? There are specific stickers they have that are bumpy.
I should stop saying that.
There are specific stickers they have that are like bumpy that you can scratch. They're designed to, but it wouldn't damage your nails. I'll see if I can find some of those to send you. They're for stimming specifically, and you can put them on any surface and kind of scratch them, peel them, mess with them. They're reusable stickers, and I've been trying to because the thing is like the other things like over filing my nails or biting them or messing with my cuticles is actually self-harm. And I'm trying to break myself of those behaviors because self-harm obviously isn't healthy. So.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard because my entire life I wasn't
So I guess
told
you
that
want
was a
you,
thing.
yeah.
I just thought everyone just thought it was just bad habits, and
Yeah,
they aren't. In fact, actually, they're sensory seeking, or
right.
needing to
Well,
stim and
that's
not
what people
having
used to
adequate.
say. Even when I was, yeah, and when I was growing up, that's what they were called. That is what they were
Yep,
called in the
bad
70s and
habits.
80s when I was growing up. They were bad habits. Everything
Yep.
was the tone was a lot more negative at that time
Yeah.
in terms of things like that.
Like, yeah, I was born
You
in
know.
'85, so like when I
Uh,
was first going to
oh,
school,
I was
I
15
was.
in '85. I went,
uh,
that's the year Back to the Future came out.
yep. So yeah, like I was born in '85, and like I had all these
Okay.
the bad habits of interrupting my teacher and all this other stuff. My desk was a mess and all of these other things. And, I didn't relate well to my peers at all socially. All kinds of stuff. My mom actually had to take me out and homeschool me for a number of years because the bullying was so bad. And so she ended up homeschooling me, which was probably the best thing she could have
I
done
was bullied as
because,
well.
yeah. My mother homeschooling me was huge because she's neurodivergent herself. So she gave me what I needed,
Mhm.
and I excelled. Yeah, those
Wow,
are some of the
that's
social
awesome.
events and various
I
different
mean,
things
it's
we've got
for
going on.
somebody to know, to have that knowledge
Yeah,
back
I
then,
was really lucky.
you were very lucky because, again, most females were not getting diagnosed because
Yep.
they were just internalizing everything.
Yeah. My mom knew I was different, and she
So,
knew
yeah.
that like teaching me required, like she let me do like research projects and whatever I wanted to. Like I ended up doing several years worth of research projects on weather, specifically tornadoes, because those are a special interest of mine. And she let me do like all these studies on things, and she gave me whatever I needed because I'm dyscalculic really bad. And so my math classes, she just did them as needed. And I'm dyslexic, but I'm also hyperlexic, so I read at the speed of light, but there's a good chance I've read it wrong. So there's that. That's always fun.
Oh, look, um, I found me.
Yeah, right.
That's so strange. It's always so strange to see your own name on a website saying
Yep.
scheduled speakers, like it's some fancy thing. And,
Yeah.
it sounds
And
like I
one
should
thing you
be
should
wearing a
also,
scarf and tweed and
well, look at who you're next to too. Like one down from you. Look who you're next to.
wait, okay, wait, I have to look now. Oh my God. Mallory Cooper and you. Yeah. Yeah, that's very
So
strange to me.
yeah, like I feel
But yeah, the
similarly.
very first time though that I was on a panel and I was on the website for the con that I talk about,
Yep.
um, I had a heart attack.
Yeah, I felt
I
that
have
way the
to
first
admit.
time I saw the band name I was part of on a sign
It's
at the
like,
place we were
no
playing.
way.
I was like, oh wow.
I just it was surreal for me,
Yeah, I think I would feel like
I
more
guess.
mind
But
blown about seeing my name on the website if I hadn't put it there. So,
yeah, yeah. Um, so by the way, I'm assuming while I had excuse me, while I had to step away, I was assuming that you talked about
I did.
and the panels that I'm doing. Okay, thank you very
I
much.
didn't really talk about your panels. I
Sorry,
figured
I
you
didn't get
could
a
talk
chance
about
to
them.
talk about that. But
Yeah, I wanted to give you the chance to
um,
talk about those. I
okay,
actually talked about like
um,
everybody else's, but I'll let you talk about your
okay,
panels.
okay. Maybe I can do that real quick. And these were panels that that I that I had suggested pretty early on, I think, And I kind of had to whittle it down to what was what did I really want to do? What was I, you know, I had to
Yeah, what's
really
the
look at
core
it
of the
and what was really most important to me. And because I have talked about this in the past, on my channel and then in other forums as well, about balancing family life
yeah.
and um, creativity, creative stuff.
Mhm.
Some people know that I actually have two, because I'm crazy. I have two YouTube channels. And
That's
the
a lot
other
of
one
YouTube
is
channels.
it's a family channel. It's a family
Ah.
channel. I don't do nearly as much with it. I was trying to do that over the break, but it was just kind of busy. But so yes, I have the second channel is called the Pettit Fam.
Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
think I follow that on Facebook.
oh, thank you. Oh yeah, you might be in the group. So yeah,
Yeah.
so there's and then of course the Instagram and then the Facebook
Yep.
group.
So much social media.
Whatever. Oh my God, it's really, really kind of
Yep.
crazy. But anyway, that's where that came from, and I think I have also discussed this at Necronomicon, possibly. Anyway, at Necronomicon, I've talked about disability in writing,
Yep.
specifically in writing and in stories. But anyway, I can talk about that later. That's a different con. Uh, uh, so anyway, I think um, when I started talking to people who I knew who were writers and neurodivergent, I would estimate um, at least a third, maybe probably more, of the authors on AuthorTube. I've
Mhm.
heard them talk about themselves in this manner. So guess what I did? I found a bunch of author tubers
Yep.
to be on panels with me, mostly. I do believe they all are. Um, and yeah, that makes sense. So not only for this panel here, but for the other one that I'm running, which is on Sunday. And that is, if it's in here,
Yep, it
I do
is.
believe
It's
Sue.
a
Where,
little
where,
further down, I
where?
think.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, I guess I didn't put it
I
on
don't
there
see it.
yet.
But
I thought it
it's just, no worries. Anyway,
I had
I know
the
you're going to do it, so
not just that, I had the
don't worry.
website ate a couple
Um,
of the things that I put on it yesterday, and I wrote
okay,
a thing about the other
so
panel, but it might have been one
that's
of the
okay.
things that the website ate. I'll
So
fix that
the
today.
Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, so the other panel is about um, creating a YouTube channel and or
Yep.
TikTok, especially if you are camera shy, have a tendency to be self-critical and all that
Yep.
stuff. And what's the word? What's the word?
Oh,
Comparisonitis.
yeah.
I can't think of the word right now.
I
I
gotcha.
never think of that word. But it's all about that.
Yep.
So, I think that is going to be something that people might be interested in.
Definitely. Because
Because a lot of marketing now is YouTube
yep.
for authors. So
Oh, yeah, my TikTok channel is my primary marketing source at this point, like,
at this
that's
point, wow. And you haven't had it all that long either,
no, I've got,
I think.
2,400 people following it. Like,
What?
I went from 0 to 2,400 this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of work.
Holy cow.
Yeah, lots of work, lots of
Um,
time, lots of
yeah.
energy, and,
So
a lot of study. I mean, 2,400 in the scope of things isn't that big when you look at some of the other YouTuber or TikTokers,
yeah.
but it's not,
Yeah, okay,
it's
now I have
respectable.
an idea for next year.
Yeah? Excellent.
Organize all of the things you have going on as a neurodivergent and creator, but
Oh,
that might
yeah.
an option.
I know, Heather's actually gonna be
Because
talking about something
I just
similar.
getting started in Notion.
Yeah.
What?
So Heather, her talk is actually going to be on, not sorry, Jace Carter. Jace Carter's talk is
Oh,
Uh, I know her under a different name. Her talk is going to be about creating routines and productivity, which will dovetail very nicely with what you're talking about there, like how to create a productive atmosphere and how to, get your brain into
yeah,
doing the thing.
see, I'm going to be in that one,
Yep.
in the chat in that one,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
I'm really excited about my how to find a niche as an editor one myself. I'm looking forward to giving that talk.
And that one.
Yep.
But I do want to say super quick. I know you have to go. I
Yes.
do have to say, when I saw you got Dick Margolis as editor, I had a cow because I know he's been an editor for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hug break.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's. Aw.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, what's he say? Oh, that's always awesome.
That was sweet.
That was sweet.
That was
And
very
what
sweet.
did they say? It's an endorphin stimulator.
Yeah. Yeah, Dick
Thank you.
Margolis he's a nice guy. I'm excited to have him talk about that. I was actually going to talk about that Shebdick before he stepped up and volunteered to do it. So
Who?
I'm glad to have somebody who's so experienced having a discussion about going from manuscript to print.
Gotcha. Yes.
Um,
And also, I think he's done a similar talk before because I went to the NAWI online conference in, when was that? The one that was online in 2020 or
I don't
21,
know,
I forget.
honestly.
I went to that and I thought that was a great little presentation he did. So it sounds like it's very similar.
Yeah.
But anyway,
all right, I have to get
think you
running
need to
because I
wrap
need
it
to
up.
take. Yep, I got to take my husband to a doctor's appointment. So thank you very much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for coming, Ellis. I love talking about this, and I will be sure to mention it. Keep mentioning it until in my streams and wherever I can until it happens.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it. I
No
was
problem.
kind of nervous about whether or not we were actually going to be able to do it a few days ago because we only had like 12 tickets. And I mentioned that in the groups. And as neurodivergents do, we all waited to the last minute to buy tickets. And we went from 12 to 41 in like 2 days. So
Awesome.
I think it was just a matter of
That's
people's
just so
time
awesome.
blindness.
Doubled, more than doubled.
Yeah, so like almost
very
like
cool.
4 times. So I'm really excited about it. I'm hopeful. Like I wanted to make sure that I got to at least 50 tickets sold by a month before the conference, so before the 17th of this month, because I wanted to make sure the speakers weren't going to be talking to empty places because that would not be fun for them. Like the rejection sensitive dysphoria would be terrible.
Question.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously.
Right.
Oh, okay. Your okay. When the recordings go live
Yes.
on a YouTube channel, would that be
Yes.
on your 13
I'm
cent
going to be
short
creating
YouTube channel,
a separate YouTube channel for the conference.
I was just going to ask that. So
yeah, the conference will have its own channel.
sounds good.
I have a personal YouTube channel. I talk about writing and publishing and give advice for authors on there. So
it's called 13 Cent Short, right?
Yep, it is 13 cents short. That is my author brand.
All spelled out.
Thank you very much. So if anybody wants to pop over there, most of them are recordings from the weekly writers workshop I was doing. I've transitioned over to making YouTube videos. I kind of took a break over the holiday season, but I'm still running that writers workshop. We still meet almost every week. We've just changed formats.
I see you've got a cool looking avatar for it.
Yeah, I love my avatars. The logo, the TCS logo, is my author logo. It was
Okay.
designed by author Angel Leia. She is just a delight. Just wonderful. She's my cover artist. She did my logo, and I love that there's a dragon in there.
Okay.
If you
Cool.
look closely at the logo, you can see one of the letters is actually a dragon.
I have to do that now.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you told me this before.
Yep.
I'll have to take a look. Pop
So
that in the chat as well, in case anybody's interested. You have a lot of very interesting things to say, and I need to get in your Discord for that. There's also a Discord, like you were saying, also for the conference.
Kira, let me grab a Discord invite.
That
I'll
might be a good
just,
segue there.
Right, I'll just get you a Discord invite for the
Why don't you do
for the server. Let's see, generate the link.
All right.
There is a
you
link
can put
to
that in the private chat, and I can
just
put
sent.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I accidentally.
I'll just put that
hold
in
on,
the,
don't
in
send
the
that one. That's going to
description.
invite people to
No.
That's going to invite people to the wrong specific channel.
Okay.
That's going to invite people to the Triggering Topics channel, and I don't want people to start there.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Not that channel.
So yeah, well that channel I have because sometimes as authors we have to discuss things that aren't going to be easy. And I wanted to give people a space to have those conversations. The second one is the one we need, I think. So it looks like they're the same. So okay, all right then. But I wanted to give people a place to have discussions where it might be difficult to have discussions. So, but there are trigger warnings on each of the threads, and so you can see like, is this something you can talk about, and nobody's obligated to participate in that space. But all right, I need to get running. It was great to talk to you.
Anyway,
I'm really glad we had this chance.
It was so great talking to you.
Yes, and I am sure we will catch up soon.
Been too long.
Yes, very much. Take care.
That sounds good. Alrighty, you too, Ellis.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay. Alrighty. So that is all the information about the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference. Let me see here. Let me make that. Maybe I'll do this. All right. So now that bit of business is out of the way, I can go into some sprints if anybody would like. But Stacy, I was going to say earlier that I was so anxious of public speaking for so long that when I took my college classes, it took me a few tries to do the public speaking class. Actually, I had to take it 3 times? Yeah, 3 times. That's how bad was that. But when I was in high school, though, I did a little bit of theater, and so that helped as well. And then also now doing YouTube has helped me. And then also obviously being a panelist, because I was doing that first. I started being a panelist at Necronomicon Tampa. I started doing that in 2018. And actually, I started to say earlier that I've been streaming. It's been exactly a year. I mean, 2 years. Why did I say a year? It's been exactly 2 years since I have started streaming. So this is kind of also my second anniversary. So yeah, there's that. So happy anniversary to me, I guess. Thank you very much, Bonnie. Thank you for coming in. But like I say, I can do some sprints if anybody would like. That is not a problem. moving this around a little bit. Yeah, some things I would like to do. So, what did I? Oh yeah. Put did I put a link in the chat? Yes, I did. To Ellis's YouTube channel. So that's going to be really cool for um, that and I was assuming that she had um, created a YouTube channel specifically for the conference. So um, okay, Stacy wants to finish eating. Okay, that is fine. But I will start getting getting some things together for that. I unfortunately do not have a question of the day. At least not yet. I might have to think about that. I had to go run an errand this morning, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. Uh, and the StreamYard background music, I might do a little bit of that during the sprint. So I do like that in the free version. Speaking of StreamYard, and streaming and everything, well, I also have another announcement, which is that looks like I'm going to be streaming 4 Heart Breathings in addition. So that is coming. I think what I'm going to do is just to be sure I have everything, all my ducks in a row, instead of starting next Tuesday, I think it's going to be the following because I also have some other things going on. So, um, so, I will be streaming for Heart Breathing starting. Looks like I've decided to start. So not this coming Tuesday, but the following, which is well, let's see. Next Tuesday is the 10th. I don't have anything in front of me at the moment. Sounds like the 17th, doesn't it? Oh boy. So, so yes, so that's exciting, and so I would so I am still arranging everything, getting everything all set up, but it's going to be the same as the same time. They didn't have a problem with doing it at noon Eastern. So it sounds like it's going to be noon Eastern on Tuesdays, and that stream is specifically for heart breathings. And then the Thursday is going to be my usual stream. So the and then so this stream it's kind of be an anything goes kind of thing. I won't necessarily be writing. I think I will leave it open to doing my art or other productivity. I think the heart breathings one is going to be specifically for writing. I might even say that'll be for writing and this will be for art. That might happen. So I think that's going to be a thing. So that's going to be the difference. So, and then the other thing that I have to do for streaming with heart breathings is I need to just mostly the only thing. visually, the only thing that's going to be different is that I have to have something in the chat. I mean, in the description, that says I am that this stream is specifically for heart breathings. Oh, and then also, it's going to be I'm going to have to stream it to to their to the heart breathings. I guess it's the main heart breathings um, Facebook group. So I have to stream to two destinations. So I will be getting paid StreamYard this weekend. So there's that. That's those are the main differences, and I'll also on occasion will be participating as much as I can, participating in Double Down Day, which is the first Saturday of the month, where you're trying to I do believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, I'm still, kind of, learning all the things, but um, um, I think it's required to do Double Down Day. But oh, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, that you're trying to double your usual word count in that day of your usual goal. I do believe that's right. So um, I that's one thing that I need to do is I need to get back and I need to continue having a conversation via email with one of the coordinators, and I will get everything set up. Continue to get everything set up, and then um, I might be. Sounds like I might be guesting when Jenna O'Malley um, is streaming as part of that this coming Saturday. So, and I do believe that's Saturday morning. So there's that. So I have a lot of things going on. Yeah. So I'm changing up my streaming schedule, and I have. Let's see, my first speaking engagement this year is the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference, and then I guess the second one will be the AWC, the AuthorTube Writing Conference. I'm going to be submitting. I need to submit something like ASAP, submit my pitches, and then that's 2. 3 is Necronomicon Tampa in September, and then looks like I am applying to do an art demo at Multiverse. It's called Multiverse Atlanta. Yeah, because I was invited to do that. So that is my speaking schedule for the year. So yeah. um, yes. So I'm looking forward to all of those things. And so yeah, I have a lot to do. And like I said earlier, I'm getting into Notion and to make sure that I am as organized as I can be, as I can be, so that I have everything straight and all the things. And it's getting darker outside, and that's why yeah, it's darker. um, so yeah. Stacy, let me know when you're ready, and we can do some. We can get in our first sprint. I will go ahead and take out the, there we go. I want to, there we go. Okay, I have to take that out all the way. Share the screen. 1 second, Stacy. Get YouTube. I think I'll um thing, timer. Um, Notion is it's an organizational tool um, that is both online and an app, and it's you can use it as a calendar, you can use it as a task list. I'm still very new to it. I mean, I literally just started using it last week, this past week. This past week? I think it was late last week is when I got started. That sounds right. I think it was like last Thursday or Friday. So yeah. um so yeah, that was it's been interesting. I've created a reading list so far. I mean, there's a bunch of templates in there that are pretty easy to use. So far, it seems pretty user friendly. Um, so basically, I want to create a content calendar there, and put all my businessy to dos and have a calendar. Basically, it's how you can have everything in a calendar format. And then there's like different views. You can toggle different views of all the things you have, all your notes, so that basically it's one big calendar. And that's what I understand. So I hope I have that right. That sounds right. Again, I'm pretty new to it, so but I've heard so many good things about it for so long. Um, and I finally started using it, and I love it. So yeah. All right. So I know, don't worry. No, I only sometimes can type one-handed very well. Um, okay, let's see. I don't have any type, but I would like to. I'm getting curious about that. I know a lot of author tubers create timers. Um, I might do that. We shall see. Um, Laura Nettles' name popped into my head. She has some great timers. Hey, I do often use Pomodoro style um, sprinting. Sorry. And I think my brain's starting to go south. Yeah, that's about right. About 1:30 in the afternoon for me. um, Stacy, 25 minutes. How does that sound? And then we can get that started in just a couple minutes. While I'm waiting to hear about that, let me get a banner set up for us. Like maybe this. Oh, I had this color in my banner and stuff in the branding for Christmas time when I was streaming last month. So I was streaming. I had taken November off, and then I streamed like the first few weeks of December. I might just leave it for now. All right, that sounds good, Stacy. Um, let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see. Um, I like this typewriter one. Get this set up real quick, as quickly as I can. Alrighty. Okay. What happened? Oh, okay. Remember to save your work. Remember to what happened with that? Let me fix that. Remember to sip your water if you need to. Remember to stretch your back if you need to. Get up and walk around. That's a good thing to do. Come on. Cooperate. There we go. But we're going to go ahead and get this sprint started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's sprint. So, how did everybody do who was doing the sprinting? Let me know if you want to talk about what you did. Mostly I sent an email and talked to my family. So that is what I did. That is what I did. You know, in a way, these colors kind of work together. I mean, that's a cool blue, and that's a very warm red, but it kind of looks good? Question mark. Anyway, so I'll probably change that background though to be a little more on brand, I guess. But anyway, so yes, I checked on the Pettit fam. My guys, had a conversation with hubby, and Jen writes, romance came in. Hello, thank you very much. And we said hi, and she said, we'll have to watch this later. Thank you very much. My guest was Ellis Prybylski, and she is a she is also a writer and editor, and she is also a bit of an artist. She was talking about the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference, which I had the honor of assisting in the development of. So I'm very proud of that. And so that's been my sort of little secret I've had for about a year. And so it's almost here. How many weeks did she say? Anyway, it's in middle of February, the third weekend of February, and so so really looking forward to speaking at this conference. Jen, oops. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. So Stacy Coates says she was productive, just not in writing. Brain is still scattered. I understand. Moved Karma's gifts to the basement and am doing digital cleaning of my music. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't really do as much with music as I used to when I was younger. But that's something I really want to do. Get some fresh music going in my life. I think that's one of my personal goals for the year. So, yes, I hope that your I think as you said, your daughter is Karma, and she's getting ready for for a birthday party. What does my son listen to? In terms of music, well, due to his disabilities, he often listens to things that are geared towards younger children, just because he likes to listen to things that he grew up with and and are familiar to him. So yeah. But he's very interested in a lot of things. Actually, we have a CD that we had found at a library bookstore that's Irish music, and he loves it. So I think that might be his a new obsession, maybe. But he used to watch when he was little. He used to watch the Wiggles, and so he was into groups, but for quite some time, but like the Wiggles and etc. So he liked. Um, he still talks about that sometimes.
Yes.
Stacy has a drive of music.
Customer service.
I'm deleting music I'd put on there when the kids were really little. I won't listen to them again.
Customer service.
Yes, this weekend.
Customer
Well, I
service.
hope you have a good time in the party. Yeah, I agree with you, and he loves music. Actually, we had some CDs in the car years ago, and of some Western artists that were popular in the 90s, you know, like Garth Brooks, and there was a couple of others. I think these were my husband's from a while back, and my son really wanted to listen to them, and so he started listening to them when he was really young, um, and he liked feeling the vibrations in the speakers in the door. I thought that was fascinating. And so he liked this one um, album of Garth Brooks's. So yeah, so he likes Garth Brooks, and he likes this one Irish group. What were they called? The Irish Descendants, I think. I think it was four gentlemen. Very nice traditional Irish music. Jen says, my daughter's boyfriend was over last night and they were bouncing back between his edgier rock and her ballad style songs. Kind of going back and forth. Stacy says Karma has apraxia, and I basically know what that is. She loves to sing along to Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode? That's awesome. Didn't they had a hit in the mid 80s and then it came back again in the late 80s. What was that called? I forget. Oh, I used to love them too. Oh my God. But yeah, I remember when they were popular. And I remember when, yes, really remember when he was huge. Your brother dressed like him. I remember going to line dancing with a couple friends back in the day when that was really, really popular. Actually, they had on New Year's Eve, there was one of the things that was on the network. I think it was CBS. I think it was CBS. It was in Tennessee. Was it Nashville? I don't think it was Nashville. Yeah, maybe it was Nashville. I don't remember. But it was all country music, and it was really good. But it was also acts like Sheryl Crow. And there were so many varied artists. I enjoyed it, actually. My husband still likes country music quite a bit, and a lot of classic country music I love listening to. Stacy, I really like Depeche Mode, and so she's heard them a lot. And when she started to sing along, we listened to them more. Cool, because you really have to encourage the things. What? Wait, what? Depeche Mode is supposed to be coming out with a new and unfortunately last album. Well, I mean, they got to be older than me, so they're probably in their 60s, and they have to be older than me. So that's understandable. What? Yeah, up there in age. Didn't one of them pass away? Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear. Who just passed away? Oh, wait, no, nobody just passed away, but two people had health problems over the last week. What was that? Thursday night? Thursday night was the footballer, the football player, and then like the day before, Jeremy Renner had an accident. That's why it's the last, but the member passed after most of the work was done. Okay. Have to check that out. I didn't get into the Cure back then, but I've been curious about them now. I've probably heard stuff from them because I know they were really popular. I'm in, like, what was that? The late 80s and early 90s, something like that. Yes. Gosh, it was like, was it the same day? I think that happened on the same day or something. That was just crazy. They might still be in critical condition. Several months ago. Depeche Mode artist. Yeah, I've been really curious about The Cure. I'll have to, I think that was more like late 80s and early 90s, I think.
Yeah, Paul, my name's Kevin. I'm with Pediatric Physician Services, All Children's Hospital. This is regard
Jen, my high school and college years, they were it for me. I was more kind of mainstream pop for the most part, but I did like Depeche Mode. I liked their music, and my younger brother helped me get into the more non-traditional stuff.
8632. Let them know if you have any other insurance. If you have any questions, 727-767-3806. Thank you.
I've heard of this song. It's called Love Song. Yeah, yeah. What's this? The one song that gives you a bad memory, but you love their old stuff. I think similar ages. I think something like that. But it is 2023, and I will be turning 53 this year. So that's a hoot. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, we can talk for a few more minutes, and then I do have to go run an errand. Your kid will drop The Cure and the Smiths into playlist here and there. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I need to modernize my music consumption. Yeah. Than me? Okay. The older albums. Yeah, I'll have to check some of that stuff out. So yeah, I do have to go run an errand in a few minutes, but I have really enjoyed this stream. It was so great to talk to Ellis. I hadn't talked to her in a little while. So yeah, my guest was Ellis, or also called E. Prybylski. And we were talking earlier about the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference, which I'm blessed to be involved with. I'm so glad I helped to develop it in any way that I could. But mostly it was Ellis and a lady named Leslie Heath. Ironically, it's Heath. I always joked that it would be funny if I ever married a man whose last name was Heath. Then I'd be Heather Heath. Actually, and then a few years ago, I stumbled onto a a business card for this lady doctor, and her name is Heather Heath. Anyway, uh, so yeah, so we were talking a lot about that. We talked for about an hour about the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference. I really, really enjoyed assisting in any way that I could to put it together. And so, yes, so I am going to be hosting 2 panels. And like I said earlier, I've got a lot of author tubers on these panels with me, including Jenna O'Malley, Glory Writes the Blues, Ellis Prybylski. I have a couple more, and I do believe everybody that I did invite to do that with me, I do believe everyone is going to be on both panels. Um, in the chat are links to to the conference up the top. Let's see, let me pin real quick before I go. Let me see if I can. Let's see, what I did was I put in the schedule. So let me do this. Let me put another link. I have one for in the sessions part of the website. Let me go to, let's just go ahead and go to the home. Click on the home button there. Wait a minute. Copy. And get that in there. And then see about pinning it. Let's see. I have to get into the chat in my stream. Oh yeah, and by the way, Diane Dobson Barton is streaming. She started streaming at 2 o'clock. So when I start streaming on Tuesdays, they didn't have a problem with me streaming from noon to 2. So I hope Diane does not mind. Anyway, let me get that in the. Let me pin this. I think I have to do it now before I get out of the stream. Let's see. Oops. Make sure I mute it. There we go. Come on. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that should be pinned now. Okay, there we go. Yes. Okay, so anyway. So great to be streaming. I think it's been a couple weeks now since I have. So all right. So yes, I want to get into and start getting into Spotify again and listen. Yes, and listen to some things in Spotify. I have, you know what? I've actually gotten my kid to listen to a couple of podcasts geared towards kids. And one was like telling stories, and stuff like that. So. Let's see. Spotify has something called Discovery Weekly they put together for you, and I always try to listen to it to catch up with the fresh music. That sounds like a good idea. and given years ago with my daughter, and just started to get into music with her. I know the words to some strange songs. So yeah, so here it is, a direct link to the the conference, and yeah, I love podcasts. Ooh, Jen, sorry, I've got too many Jens and Jennas in my head right now. Um, um, she says, I love podcasts, but they're not geared towards kids. Luckily, there are some that are. So, yeah, I'm looking into that again, and try to get my son to listen to some new things here and there. So it is kind of hard when you have a kid who is on the autism spectrum sometimes, depending on and to try new things, depending on where on the spectrum they are, obviously. But anyway, um, something for everybody. There is something for everybody. Alrighty, well, I'm going to wrap this up and go run my errand. And so, okay. Well, I want to thank everybody who has come in during the stream while I'm live. I would also like to thank anybody who might watch the replay. We're getting information about the conference, and I'm getting really excited. It's only really a few weeks away, yeah, so I will be back next week with just sprints. But if anybody would like to co-host, I just want to throw that out there. Please get in touch with me, DM me. My link to my link trees below, and to some other stuff too, including the conference and all other kinds of things. Alrighty, well, I think I'm going to wrap this up and say, have a great day, everybody, and stay. Alrighty, bye.